All right, everybody, welcome to Tales from the Flipside. This is Monday night, episode 266. I know it. I know Z didn't know it last week, but I know these things. We are doing trailer galore, I guess, 2 trailers. What else are we doing? Oh, talking some wrestling stuff. Scott Pilgrim, the Beetle stuff. So here we go. We're going to do it. And let's go. Let's do it up. Everyone's on spring break this week, man. So,
yeah, people with kiddos.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that life yet. Maybe next year.
So everybody's taking family trips.
Yeah, you know. Big news for us is opening day for us is Thursday for the Tigers. So.
Oh, nice.
Tigers are terrible, so I mean, it's probably the only time we're actually gonna watch it. So. Coming up first, I put this late last week. I didn't know it was going to actually happen today. Blue Beetle trailer number 1 rumored to last 227 or 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Trailer is rumored to drop next week. It dropped today, and I just took a little snippet of it. Thoughts, reactions, good, bad, indifferent.
Honestly, I enjoyed it.
Real talk, I didn't watch any of them, either one. So
okay, no, it's okay.
All right, so I'll chime in. I actually really enjoyed it. It felt very Marvel, except for that brief period of body horror when the scare was taking over. Mm-hmm. But other than that, though, it actually it felt very akin to more of a Marvel. Upbeat pop song, hip hop pop song playing over the trailer. Mm-hmm. It feels very Miami meets Southern California. I mean, Palmyra city. It's fictional city they made up, but it's like an amalgam of Miami meets SoCal.
Yeah,
I mean, it just felt different. It felt cooler than DC has been in, and the stakes felt, at least for what was kind of being established, the stakes felt way more community based, way more like the first Shazam movie. So yeah, I mean, and the CGI and the costume looked fantastic. So.
Are we? No, remind me because I'm not the sharpest tool and stuff when it comes to this stuff. Is this the first gun movie, or is this part of the old regime stuff?
It's part of the old regime stuff, but it's done in a way where it feels very much so like your neon light side of the 80s. Mm-hmm. Like where Gun is trailer park rock with a little bit dipping in, coming out of the 70s and moving into the 80s. Mm-hmm. This is firmly mid to late 80s type of vibe of the neon, that's that font that you see on everything from the late 80s.
Miami Vice, Cocaine Cowboys, all that.
Exactly. So it's got that kind of it had a little bit of that vibe to it from the title treatment. I could honestly see this one being one of the ones that carries over, depending on what elements they chose to include in there. But it seems like this is a community that's not going to be saved by your traditional DC superhero. So I could see this character not having any cameos or them editing out the cameos and it continuing forward in the, because honestly, I mean, it fits the whole heroes and monsters motif because, I mean, it's straight, when the scare takes over, it's straight body horror. It's black goo creeping into his mouth and shit, taking over his body. I mean, it was very Cronenberg-esque. So I could see it having a place in that I'm not in control of my body type of vibe that maybe what happened in Gunn's universe.
Any books flying off the shelves, off of eBay?
Not yet. I mean, I've got a Blue Beetle first appearance out there, 500 best offer. I didn't get any pokes at it, but I haven't really I wasn't paying attention to that book. I got some auctions running, but
the Charlton.
Probably. I think you froze up there.
Yeah, the Charlton.
This Blue Beetle. Because well, there's also, so speaking of its gear is in the movie. I don't know if Cord's in the movie, but Cord's gear is, because there's a point when they are flying his Blue Beetle ship. So, and they're in his what looks like his laboratory talking about there's a point we were oh, this is Batman stuff, and then George Lopez goes, Batman's a fascist, and that's when the trailer ends. So they find Ted Cord's laboratory and his gear. And they're using it, but I'm not sure if Cord makes an appearance in the movie.
Interesting.
But there was one thing in the trailer though, like like anybody who's like, I love like homages and things like that call back to like other properties, like whenever they did the Akira slide in Us and things like that. There's like the final sequence of him in his full glory is like, if you can imagine it, I can create it. Is the Scarab talking to him, and so he's got his hands are like two like blades basically. He slaps his hands together. They form. If anybody's familiar with Final Fantasy VII, it forms a Buster Blade. And he basically like does a like straight anime martial arts movie kick with the Buster Blade, where he kicks it up into his hands, twirls it around his back, and catches it on his shoulder. And that's when the trailer like cuts to the last joke sequence. But like, if the action is like that, I'm all for it, because seeing that type of like live action anime coolness, I'm definitely down for.
Hold on a second. Let me get the right screen. Is it this one?
Yes. So yeah. So it's straight up like he forms that and like basically does this really cool like juggling spin, like basically like a sword spin, like a side spinner type thing, to get it up to his back or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that fight sequence was probably going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. Interesting. Very interesting. Before we get to next trailer, we're going to talk a little Scott Pilgrim. Been a minute. It's been a minute. What, 2000? I'm going to take a guess. 2007. 2007. Well, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, but Scott Pilgrim was what, 2007? 2010? 2010? Yeah, 2010.
Yeah.
It's funny. I didn't realize, like, outside of Chris Evans and Brandon Routh, I didn't realize any of those people were in that movie, like any of the rest of that cast.
Yeah, I mean, I knew Sarah, but that's about it. I can't remember Kendrick. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it was the starting point for. I mean, because she was Anakin was Scott's sister. Brie Larson, of course, was the ex-girlfriend. Allison Pill was the drummer for the band who used to date Scott. Of course, Ramona Flowers. Like, this was like a starting point for a lot of these people's careers. I mean, like the most notable names in this movie actually at the time was Michael Cera, Chris Evans, and I think Brandon Routh had come off of being Superman. So he was kind of in this weird limbo state. But like they and then like Jason Schwartzman was like doing his whole indie darling shit and being like Paul Anderson's like go-to guy for a little while there. But yeah, like there was like 4 notable names in here. Everybody else was like bit roles, and then they all went on to be some of the biggest actors of the last 20 years under 40. So
how much is this thing gonna cost with all those big old names now? Like,
well, see, the awesome thing is that a lot of these people ain't really doing shit right now. like Allison Pill hasn't been anything like worth mentioning since Newsroom. I mean, yeah, Brie Larson's going to be expensive. Anna Kendrick might be expensive, but also all these people came back to do the 20-year table read, including Chris Evans. So I think they feel a certain level of loyalty to it, because like they were nobodies when they got this. And yeah, this didn't necessarily put them on the map, but it gave them something that had like a fan base that they could leverage to get into other films. So I think out of loyalty for what it did for them, that they were definitely down to come back. And also, it's damn near free money. Like anybody who's ever done voice acting work will wholeheartedly admit, you ain't got to leave your house, especially if you've done it before for other things, which most of these people have. You already have a room that you probably had kitted out for you, or the studio paid for you to have kit out. And anytime you do work from there, you get to double dip, because you basically can write it off the square footage that are your damn taxes. So it's like, I'm getting paid basically to go into a room and talking to a microphone for like a couple hours, a day. It's like, this is kind of like a win-win situation.
Wait, now, is this a series or a movie, or do we not know yet?
Honestly, I don't think it's been established yet, but I mean, there's enough material to breach into Scott Pilgrim versus the universe and things like that, like the follow-up books. So that'd be cool to see. I mean, but most of these characters, though, I don't think returns for universe.
Okay, interesting. A new series from Anime House brings. Oh, interesting. It might be. I'm just kind of reading right here. It doesn't really say yet, but interesting. Okay. The next one we got is Secret Invasion, right?
Yeah.
The trailer dropped for that. I'm gonna pull a Carter on this one. I didn't watch this one. I didn't get a chance to, but it's okay. I mean, it's Sam Jackson, man. can't go wrong with Sam Jackson. Thoughts, Chris? Anything?
I mean, it is straight espionage. Like, it is like Marvel spy. Like, I mean, if we got a little bit of a taste of that in Winter Soldier, then this is like turning it up to 11. Like, sneaking through the dark. Who's behind the mystery? Who, like, clearly it looks like it's somebody is harvesting genetic material from the scrolls. And what is their nefarious purpose behind that? So again, it's going to be a cool kind of whodunit. There's been rumors. Well, no, not this one. Never mind. I'll hold on to that one. But yeah, it looked. I think a lot of people are not going to be like traditional Marvel fans. May not be the biggest fan of this if they are looking for your traditional superhero fare, because that ain't it from what it looks like. This is a spy film. Is
this Marvel's Jason Bourne?
It feels that way. It definitely feels that way. It feels very Bourne-esque. It feels, like very self-serious, but not in a bad way. But like, whereas like Jason Bourne is like that self-serious type of world of spy espionage, this seems to shy very far away from the Kingsman universe, where it was like tongue-in-cheek and like old school Bond jokes and things like that. Like this feels very much so a real planted type of play on spy espionage, and we'll see how Amelia Clark does in a world like that. I mean, the last time she played a little bit more of a serious role, it didn't go that well in the Terminator series, but maybe she found her groove. So
cool. Next on the old list is me and Carter's To Our Heart, a little WWE action. So
is where I took
Okay. So, all right. So when I was looking online at stories, there is a picture of Vince with a mustache. Is that real?
That is real. So, okay. So this is what you think of Vince McMahon. Hold on. So, hold on one second. Let's do that. Oh yeah, he looks very the wolf from Pulp Fiction, I guess, or I mean that's
I'm not sure what the logic was with this one, but yeah, he's a little weird looking. It aged the shit out of him.
What's going on?
I don't know, man. It's trying to find his youth out here.
I mean, he's got the
kind of look like Walt Disney too.
He real talk. He looks legitimately like the white version of my father. How he used to look.
I mean, he looks like a buffed up version of Vincent Price. Like,
that's right, Vincent Price. That was another people were complaining too. So the other thing too is Vince McMahon is 77 years old, guys.
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, but he looked younger though when he still had like no mustache in the gray, but like him trying to dye it and cover the shit up. I guess newly single. I don't know. This ain't the move. I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, hey, shout out to Mooder too. So it's interesting, man.
So that's a new mustache.
That is a new mustache.
Holy crap! All right, hey man.
HGH is doing him well, man.
That Ico Pro.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Jeez, Pete. But going back, the big thing was, so he bought it. I mean, now $1 million in 1982 is no slouchy number either. I mean, decent cash. 9.3 billion, and he gets like, I'm not gonna quote it, but probably like 80% of that. So, or some god number that's ridiculous. They're saying he's going to stay put as the CEO of the WWE. They are saying that him and Dana are going to be like co-CEOs, obviously for each, and then report up to Endeavor, who owns the UFC. So, I don't think a lot of people were losing their minds because of WrestleMania last night, and like they're jumping off the ship, and it's going to go downhill. But I mean, for me, like I think MMA, they can lean into more MMA stuff on the wrestling side with Rousey and Brock Lesnar and all these people, and then obviously, they can, I mean, I think,
I was gonna say what instantly comes to mind. Again, I've been out of the wrestling game for damn near 20 years, since actually probably more than that at this point. But what this feels like, and what path they've now created, feels like the transition of like J-pop and K-pop bands when they go from being like the new hotness, then they make their transition to being like the the more metal bands, like they stay in the family, but they just kind of make their way transitioning into other types of acts. This is what it feels like now. Like, oh, you're going to be a UFC fighter, and eventually, when you age out of that, you'll make your way into the WWE, and then you'll do that for a while, and then you'll eventually just like end up in the Hall of Fame and be gone forever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it'll be it'll be interesting how this all plays out. What what I said? My wife, she's so funny. She goes, so let's bring this back up. This is so funny to me. So she said that Vince McMahon looks like Norm Macdonald playing Burt Reynolds in SNL.
Yes, absolutely. Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good. I think he looks like if his name was Vincenzo, like a scrappy, like shady Italian car dealership guy.
Yeah, I hear Spanish guitar.
Spanish guitars
in the background when
that's our boy Mike, Senor McMahon.
Senor, yeah.
Yes. He's at your local Ruby Tuesdays Mexican night doing mariachi bands. So yeah, that's news was kind of slow. Anybody? I didn't do it. I don't even know. Was there a big? C2E2 was this weekend.
Well, yeah. I was like, MegaCon was the same weekend as WonderCon. So
yeah, C2E2. I heard. I didn't hear any real good whispers. I heard people weren't buying stuff, but I mean, who knows? I wasn't there, so I mean, I didn't really hear like it went good, it went bad. I don't know.
Well, I will say one more piece of like TV. Marvel. Tomorrow week, the trailer for Spider-Verse.
Oh, new Spider-Verse?
Yep, new Spider-Verse trailer. So I made sure to get shit posted that I can move for people FOMOing on Spider-Verse. So
this is we'll just bring it up for people. There we go. News trailer confirmed in a couple days, right? Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, a couple delays. So interesting. Just for people.
Yeah, I mean, June, July, August are going to be busy, very busy months. I guess fandom adjacent, the Dungeons and Dragons film was really fucking good. Saw that over the weekend.
Yeah, I heard it derailed John Wick as a top movie spot too.
Yep, and then they also announced that Manganiello is doing his whole, he's doing a D&D Dragonlance, I think is what it is, spin-off, like live action thing that he's doing. So they're really about to expand the living shit out of this universe.
I mean, they have a ton to do it with. I mean, so many books and so much. It's like almost like Star Wars-esque.
Yeah, I mean, one of my good friends who is a D&D player was like, the one thing he hopes though is that they don't adapt actual campaigns that are existing, because that can ruin it for people who actually want to play the game. Because unlike Marvel and DC, they actually seem to have a perfect pipeline of people seeing these movies and being like, hey, I want to go like buy your other shit and play games. Whereas Marvel seemed to never, ever be able to pull that shit together, where it's like, oh man, I really love your movies. I'm never going to set foot in a fucking comic book shop. I mean, with exceptions, like you get to the young kiddos, definitely. But like the grown adults, we're not going back to the comic book shop after watching their movies. It's
like the guys who, and I guess it's my like high school days of like, right, I won't read this book. I'll wait for it to come out on a movie, right? And I'll just never read the book.
Yeah, but I mean, the D&D movie, actually, I left there being like, man, maybe I'll actually take the time to finally like learn how to play D&D, because once I got up to a certain age, like I didn't want to be an adult learner playing a game like this and fucking it up for everybody else. Nobody wants to be that guy when everybody's experienced playing this game, and you're just like, so what do I do here? Like, what do I roll for? Like,
boomer learning is the worst.
Oh boy. No, I think. There's a lot of, I will say, I have to say, there's a lot of gatekeeping and stuff, but I think if you get the right crew, obviously a lot of people will be like, oh, you're cool, dude, don't worry, I'll explain it,
Yeah, but you still feel bad though, because like, I mean, like they're moving like a well-oiled machine, and then you show up and you're just like, what do I do here? Like, okay, you're gonna roll for initiative. Okay. I got a 20. I mean, I'm assuming that's good. Like, so like, I don't want to be that guy in the room.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it really comes down to with the dungeon matcher. Like, if your dungeon matcher is like not a good guy, it's always going to be bad. But
you know what? Okay, that store that we went to.
Yes.
Like I've shopped in there while they were playing whatever game, and like I'm just saying, yeah, like the dungeon masters, and they're like in full effect.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like Chris
voices
said,
and
well-oiled machine.
Yeah, it's voices, it's everything, and it's like I've had it too. Where and the sad part about it is like most shops that have that kind of stuff aren't set up for comics, or like it's not like a big space where you're like, oh, it's over in the corner and it's away. It's always like, oh, I need to get around the comics, and like the table's like right there, and it's like, oh, I don't want to like bumping people.
Yep.
But so, that's all I got for news. Go into the market report. John Z set this one up. I did not do any of analysis, I would say, but BA12 obviously with with what's her face, Lady Gaga being all on the news and TMZ and all this stuff. It's getting there.
I mean, I'll save the pickups, but picked up some Harley related stuff over the weekend, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, these books are back to their former glory again. I mean, this is the type of prices we saw in first Suicide Squad movie type days. So I mean, there's still something there, and I mean, people were definitely poo-pooing on the initial first leaked images of her as Harley. One that I saw that I thought was pretty cool. I mean, it was a simple scene, but it was like her going up the steps of what looks like a courthouse.
Yeah.
One of the Joker follower fanboys like, "Hey, it's the Joker's girl, let her through." And some lady is yelling at her, holding up a Gotham Post paper, being like, "You're gonna burn in hell," or you're going to hell. And she walks up to the chick, kisses her on the lips, pulls away from her, and goes, "You're coming, but you're coming with me." And I was like, okay, like I'm a little over super dark DC, but I'm interested in seeing how this plays out. Like I will give it a pass if it's not necessarily my Harley, but I mean, I'm still down to see the movie. The last Joker did not disappoint, so we'll see what happens.
And people were poo-pooing that's on a musical and stuff like that, but maybe it's like I don't even know what's a good musical that came out that was actually
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if you're having moments of lunacy and you're breaking out in the song, like it works. Honestly, everybody who got upset about this, like, well, it's not going to be all musical. Like, it's definitely going to have probably parts where they break into song, but they're also both insane. So, like, to them, nobody had a problem with it whenever the whole goddamn dance number in The Boys, or other TV shows that we have been beloved, where they had that whole episode, where everybody had that one episode where it's like it's in fucking complete song the whole entire time.
Yeah,
I think it can work when you're dealing with characters who are like not directly attached to reality. Like when they're going out of their minds, like it works.
I got this RP-41 first Godzilla appearance. Didn't know this.
I was talking to Michael Bajel.
Yeah.
In the chat there, and he's just like, "Yeah, I just bought this," and he's like, "I don't know if it's going to show up in the market report or not." And
hey, that's Z. He's the man of what we do. So yeah, so a little free cornbread. He didn't even know about it. So first U.S. appearance of Godzilla. So get on Mike, man.
All right,
cool stuff.
Interesting. Look at him sneaking a 6 out for $240. Wow, I'm sure that's going to be like $600 now. So that's on this goddamn show. Haven't seen this book in a while. A little Ghost Spider. Everybody remembers Ghost Spider, and it's a 9.6 for $860.
Yeah, that seems like. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at this book in a minute, but that seems like that held strong still.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's a cool thing. I mean, I guess I'm sad I didn't get one, but I'm not sad. So.
Yeah, I mean, I just hate the fact they call it Ghost Spider, but I mean, let's see what this book actually
does, right?
Yeah, let's see what the history of it looks like. Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider.
Why didn't you buy the 9.4? So anyways, Breaking Bad 9.4, 225. So
when the hell did this thing come out?
2013. It was an AMC comic. You had to go to AMC and pick it up.
Oh, jeez.
So,
all right.
Or no, AMC giveaway maybe. I don't remember. Z knows about this. This is one of the recurring books that around the market report. He's just tracking it.
All right. So in reference to that Ghost Spider, it's definitely a little down, but I mean, compared to the 9.8, it's still basically half of the, a little like $400 under what the 9.8 is. So, I mean, that's not terrible. I mean, it was a 17, almost an $1,800 book at its peak, but that was, it's what it is. But still, I mean, for it to be a $1,200 9.8 still and a $800 to $900 9.6, I mean, that seems to be holding pretty strong for a modern variant.
So this is the AMC book. Yeah, I don't know if you had to mail it in or a promo book or something. So, Heir to Empire 9.8, $1,000. I wasn't tracking these. That's same, Chris. I don't remember these.
These are shifted around quite a bit. Also, let's see. I was keeping tabs on the newsstand, so let's see. Star Wars, Heir to Empire. I mean, I sold when this was like a $500 9.8 and feel like a dumbass for doing so. All right, so let's see. Heir to Empire 1, 9.8, non-newsstand. I mean, at its peak, it was a $1,500 book. But I mean, disregarding 2020 prices because that's just dumb. I mean, it's down, but like by maybe like $40-$50.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like this book from like 12-month average, that sale is still pretty strong. So if you went the newsstand route and bought in like cheap on the newsstands, you're probably sitting pretty right now as well. So yeah.
Speaking of Harley Quinn, this is the next Harley Quinn book. Margot Robbie signed Harley Quinn 2019 Ross variant. So $1,580. The only note that Mr. G says is the signature is really good. So good placement.
Yeah. I mean, it's more valuable than having Ross sign it. So.
Yeah, right. I feel bad. Alex Ross plays out bangers and nobody cares about it. Most underrated artist, probably.
Well, I mean, he had his day in this. There was definitely a point when like people were paying for Alex Ross variants. I feel like that was like early to mid 2000s. Like, people were like, man, like this Ross variant is worth it. And it's not like he has a whole lot of market saturation. I mean, he hadn't gone the route of J.R. Campbell. But I don't know. I feel like people just moved on from the photorealistic stuff and were just like, I'm good. Yeah. I mean, or more like I compare it to what Future did to T-Pain. Yeah. Is what happened to Alex Ross by way of Adi Granov. Yeah. Like Adi Granov was like, oh, I'm gonna steal your flow. Yeah. And do it slightly better. And people are gonna love me for it. Because ain't nobody actually, to tell that story, Adi, did all the stuff for the MCU early on. That was like his claim to fame is that like basically Iron Man, all that shit was modeled after his like drawings. Sony approached Alex Ross to do the initial like mock-ups for the Spider-Man suit that they ultimately didn't end up using. Yeah. Because he went like deviated from like the original. He went a little too futuristic. It bordered on like Future Foundation stuff, even though Future Foundation I don't think it had even happened yet. But so I think if that had gone differently, we might care more about Alex Ross and what he did for comics and his artwork. Let's make a picture of the concept. Oh, yep, here it is. All right, so I'll drop it into the chat. But yeah, this was Granda, or this was Alex Ross's concept for the Spider-Man movie costume. Yeah, so the first one's a pretty clear image of it. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I feel like that could have gone differently if they had chosen to go with something that was more. I mean, it kind of returns back to his design in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but I don't know. I feel like he just didn't make the moves that other artists did to stay super, super relevant per se. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I did see he always uses like 100 books, and he just sit there for years and nobody cares. I feel bad, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. What do we go with? Hawk 1 325. Under Ross, right?
Solid.
This is interesting. I would have bought this probably. My Little Pony, but a custom Deadpool sketch, $229. That's a good deal. 96. Who cares?
Nice.
Okay. So that's interesting. I saw this one and I thought it was this guy bought a case of books, but it's not. It's a double cover, double comic cover, sextuple cover. So
Jesus.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, I thought he bought like a case. I'm like, oh, he bought a case of books and somebody paid $5.65 for that.
Hey, all right.
It's like, how does the print process fuck up that bad?
Yeah.
And then that makes it through QA and like to actually go out into the wild. Like, I just don't understand it.
Crazy. Like, how do you even slab that? You just slabbing like a golden age? Cause so I don't even know how thick it would be.
I mean, 6 covers on a regular book, you're still within the bounds of what would, like, it's still smaller than a double. Yeah, it's still thinner than a giant size. So
Okay.
you're still good.
I mean, I always loved this book, Menace vs. Zombie. $5.95. Again, not a great description. I don't know if it's complete or not, but great cover for Golden Age lovers. Menace number 5. We talked about this book. I know a guy looking for this book, Resident Evil, number 1, Capcom horror game, right? Video game.
Yeah.
96, $300. You know, you find those. They're hard to find, but you know, you find them. They're worth something. One of my dad's favorite characters, Mighty Mouse, number 1, 7.5. I mean, $1,500. I mean, 7.5. I mean, oh, I didn't buy it, but it's okay.
What year is that?
46.
And not the first appearance.
No. I think the first appearance of Mighty Mouse, I looked at this because it might have got from my dad.
Animals on Parade, number 23 or something like that.
Mouse of Tomorrow, 1942.
Yep, that's what it is. Tough book to find. Go. What do we got next? Oh, Sailor Moon. He grabbed me a Sailor Moon 98. $350 for a Sailor Moon book. People love it, man. People love Sailor Moon.
I mean, they've got some diehards. I mean, the fact that they're able to run the series back, basically like updated, graphics and things like that, and like people are watching it religiously. I'm like that. Like, you already know the plot. Like, this is just a modernizing of the original Sailor Moon, I'm pretty sure, but people are watching it religiously.
We all remember this one, Sandman, Friesen variant,
Mm-hmm.
$290. I mean, I thought wasn't that like $500 back in the day?
Yeah, I mean,
500 raw.
I think so. When it first came out, I think.
Wow.
It was hard to find.
yeah, because nobody was ordering 100 copies of Sandman Universe.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was always in a time period where every single DC like high ratio variant might as well have been like a 1 in 1,000 because wasn't nobody ordering that many DC books.
Yeah. I got this book, Savage Tales 9.0, man. Conan action. $900 a 9.0. I think that's a good deal, man. I mean, my boy Tony was looking for one of these for a long time. So hard to find. Always beat up, man. Always beat up. Hard to get high grade, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Superman, Batman 4, the old German label. It's a blue label. Usually you get a green label with these. Only a 9.4, not a 9.8, but $645. So
my goodness, what's going on?
Hard to find book.
Damn. Okay, I didn't know it was that hard to find.
Oh, it's very hard to find.
Yeah, it is a ghosty.
Yeah, only out of 500. So back in the day. What else we got? Oh, this is interesting. Secret 83. So $388, right? And I'm like, what's going on? Drowning Girl, I guess. Plagiarized art. So
yes. The Liechtenstein swipe. Okay. All right. Or Liechtenstein swiped that panel and put it in one of his paintings. Okay.
So if you're looking in DC bin of like romance books, there you go. A little free cornbread. Secret Wars 8, $751.
Yeah, still respectable.
Yeah.
I mean, for as cheap as you can still find those in the wild. So
I got this Terrifiers #1s. Hard to find. Old print counts.
didn't even know it existed.
Didn't know it existed. This is one of those Rick Dotson things, I feel like. So, definitely cool. Yeah, hard to find. So you try to find these in your little horror bin that you have over there somewhere. You can find it there. Big boy book of the week. TMNT #1 first print. $24,600 for that for.
That is down. Very much so. Like
and
half.
it's our boy. It's Warrior Blizzard.
Okay, so what was the so the last price that you saw, Chris, what was that going for?
Damn near 40 is what it sold for around New York of last year.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I know a shop who was able to move one for pretty much close to that in person. So yeah, like people were still spending that money by New York Comic Con. So yeah, we are down comfortably $16,000 on this book.
My goodness. Okay. Damn.
Times are falling.
Okay, so all right. So Chris, would you still be comfortable selling it at that price or no?
I mean, depends on what I got in at it. Like it's really just what it boils down to is how much do I have into it.
Say you have half that amount.
Yeah, sure. Because I mean, you're still doubling your money.
Okay, what if? Okay, let's talk about this. We talked about it last week, or you talked about it last week because I went here. Say you had 30 grand in on it. You sell it for 24.6 and let it go.
Yep. Because I mean, yeah. Okay, you got to take everything case by case, but like, let's break down the Turtles. Legitimately, this weekend, I saw a trailer for the new Turtles animated movie.
Right.
It's very kid focused. We will not probably be seeing a live action Turtles movie anytime fucking soon. The Turtles are a 40-year-old property at this point, damn near.
Mm-hmm.
Which is being kept alive by games and kids and stuff. But I mean, it ain't what it used to be, and the likelihood of it getting that like movie, resurgence. All the factors that kind of cause these things to spring up in value have long since passed for the Turtles, and so they were really this book was being propped up by what the market was, 2021 and early 2022. I think this is just where this book naturally lives, if not a little bit lower. So if I've done all that rationalization, I'm like, okay, I'm losing, $6 grand on it, but I'm getting 24 back. I will take a hit and put that money into something else that might recoup my damages. But you damn sure know it ain't going to recoup if you leave it in this book, because this book's going to turn into maybe 2019 potentially. So
you're just falling down the scale, right?
Yeah, at some point you just got to cut your losses and try and reinvest in something else.
This is from last week. So that Todd McFarlane first ever artwork, $2,000, was in a $40 Comic Journal issue 84. So.
Nice.
So somebody didn't very pay attention to that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I got on the old market report.
Nice.
We can rock into it. I don't have anything. I didn't buy anything. I don't think I bought anything.
I've got a decent bit of pickups.
Okay.
So I guess we can hop into it. So first things first, I got books that came back from CGC. Many of the worthwhile ones have already long since sold. But I love showing the, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose on a, crack press and resubmit. So case in point, we have a Detective Comics 850 first team appearance of the Gotham City Sirens. 9
right.
Resubmit.
Oh boy.
9-4. So
there you go. Good. Yeah.
That was worth sitting back in. Let's see. Firestorm 1, 6-5. 5 pages. Came back 7-0. So
nice.
2 winners. And then I sent in, because again, back when we were doing the What's show, I was a big Justin Hammer homer. I was like, hey, this character's got potential. So I sent in 3 9-4s of the first appearance of Justin Hammer, and they came back, unfortunately, 2 9.6s and a 9.2. So I mean,
Yeah.
you know, can't win them all.
Yeah.
But you know, I would call that being better off than I was. So that's the CDC stuff. But so now getting into pickups. So first, the raw pickups. Again, like I said, I'm buying Harley books. That makes sense. This is a strong 9.8 contender.
Nice.
Also, 9.8 contender.
It's all WonderCon stuff.
Nah, this is my local LCS got a collection in. I just kind of went and just made some deals.
Nice. Okay.
Probably a 9.4, 9.6, but I mean, first printing, the black cover's a hard one to get in high grade. So if I see it with ticks that aren't terrible, I mean, this thing's got a couple, but they're not terrible. So I mean, it'll look better with press. We have a very clean copy. I mean, 9.8 realistically is possible with this book. But for what I paid for it, don't care what it comes back as long as it don't come back restored. And last but not least, these books still do exist out there in the wild raw.
Wow. So, what do you think grade wise is?
Oh, it's probably best case scenario a 5.5, maybe a 6.
Cool.
But I mean, I damn sure didn't pay 5.56 money for it. All right, so now into the stuff that I traded into at the local. We had a local one-day con here in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So, also shout out to I got approached by 2 subscribers to the show.
Nice.
Came up and said hey to me. One picked really horrible timing, and with the later pickups, I'll show you why. So we have. I went in there with 3 of these bad boys in newsstand or non-newsstand. Left with 1 in newsstand, 1 in a 9.4 in newsstand because that's newsstands are just worth more. 9.6 newsstand. I mean, again, for the price I paid for it, can't complain. Little Ra's al Ghul action because this book's down, but again, the player is killing me. But I mean, if Damien's going to be the Robin of this world, then well, you got to explain, how he came to be. So Ra's will get his day in the sun again. Little 8.5 actions because I'm all out of these books and it's got press potential. And now for the heavy hitters. So the guy walks up and he was just like, "Oh man, you're the Hulk 181 guy." I'm like, "Well, I wouldn't go that far. I got a couple." But I'm legitimately looking at a Hulk 181 when he walks up and says that. And so the guy I'm buying it from, I'm just like, he's like, "Oh, so how many do you have?" I was just like, I mean, at this point, I think like 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it just changed the whole demeanor of the interaction. I was just like, well, it looks like I'm not going to be buying his book. But speaking of having 4 or 5, so I just picked up. So this makes my 4th one, 5.5. And I mean, it's a true 5.5. We'll pull out the bag and try and see if we can get a little bit clear pictures of it. But I mean, it's got spine ticks, white pages, though. I'll take that. It's got a stamp on the back from the goddamn store that had it.
Yeah. So
I mean, it could probably clean up a little bit. I mean, there's definitely some press potential here, but I think best case scenario, it comes back maybe a 6.5 tops. So I'll either maybe do that or I'll just keep it as trade bait for when I hit the Heroes Con. But the piece de resistance, and like I said before, I was trying to parlay a deal at WonderCon to get my hands on a high grade copy of this book. The people that had them, the highest one that was in the building was a 9.0, and the guy just wasn't trying to budge on a trade. I sold enough books there where I was like, well, screw trading for it. I made what I deem to be a low ball or relatively low ball offer on eBay, and the person was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." So we've now added a 9.2 off-white pages to the family.
Nice.
So now I've got about 4 of these bad boys. Nice. So try and get the highest grade examples I can get, with the exception of that 5.5 that I got. I mean, that 5.5 I basically got in a trade. So it was like 2 books plus a little cash made that happen. But yeah, that's pretty much my haul for the weekend. I'm probably going to chill out for at least a couple weeks until Heroes Con comes around.
Carter, anything?
No, I'm done.
Okay, cool.
Catch me next week.
I got you. You got to everybody next week. I put up my Jim Lee 9.8 up there on the over there.
I think I see it.
Yeah, it's over in the corner. I'll show you. So this is from Mr. Colbert when we did just rip it off the wall, screw it, we don't care. So yeah, this is little 9.8 action. with a wraparound cover.
Yeah.
It's dope. I bought this one way too high back in the day, but who cares? But yeah, it's dope. I'll take it. I sold some books, guys. Hopefully, gonna pick them up this week so I can do some stuff. Maybe I'll send in all our books, Carter, that I got the CGC. So I have another huge CGC haul. Maybe Chris, what do you think? Should I take that New Mutants '98 and crack it and send it back in?
I mean, it's worth a shot at this point.
Right.
I mean, they were hard on mine because all of them. I mean, legitimately, people I was selling them to at the show was just like, damn. I think like normally people try to neg your book. You know, they're like, honestly, I think this book was undergraded. They're like, this was real impressive for this to be a 9 white pages. I was like, hey, I mean, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but
yeah, right. Yeah, nothing you can really do about that. But.
Yeah.
So that's all I got. I'm trying to roll maybe one more grading order because Motor City is May. I'm trying to hope maybe I can get it in. I don't know. If this guy pays this week, I can definitely send in books and then maybe get him back in May. But then the other thing too is like, what I do, Chris, you're the man to bring slabs. I just pack them, bring a small box and just roll with it. Like,
I mean, it's not an arm's reach, but here, I'll throw it into the chat real fast. This is the bag that apparently there's an official like bag that somebody made that's coming out that you can basically hold slabs in. Mm-hmm. But this bag was gifted to me. It's their Noble CrossFit bag, but it is honestly the perfect. If I can find the damn thing, it is like one of the perfect bags for carrying slabs in or anything that you're trying to protect at a con, because it's the inside of it can be made to have compartments, but you can remove all that shit. So it's all like the bands that you can like clip on shit to. But it's a huge open compartment that only unzips if you take the bag off your back. Oh. So there's no way to get into the bag without taking it off. So that means that anybody who is trying to jack your shit, like they're not going to be able to get into your bag unless the bag's off your back.
Well, I've met you, so it's like anybody trying to jack you is the dumbest person on the planet. Probably.
Well, I mean, but even still, even if you're like
my size.
I mean, yeah, if you're slick with it, if somebody catches you sleeping, and so here, I'll send it to you. So here, we're going to show it to the people. But yeah, I mean, even if you just like, hit somebody with the bump, I mean, it's not a terribly expensive bag, but yeah, so you can see in that like second to last photo, it zips from the inside. So the whole entire inside compartment, like book opens from the inside. So the only way you can get into that bag is from the inside. And it's decently padded. It's pretty damn durable. It's ripstop. At least the one I have is ripstop. And I mean, it's not just overly. I mean, I've gotten upwards of. I mean, this last show I went to, I had 16 slabs inside of it.
Oh wow, so, that's what I was gonna ask you. How many?
Yeah, so I mean, I probably could have squeezed one more in there, but yeah, I had 16 slabs in the back of that bag.
There you go.
So yeah, so people are coming out with bags and stuff now that are designed for carrying CT slabs at cons and stuff.
I'm gonna be that asshole Carter who's rolling around Motor City Comic Con with like a little wheel cart.
Well, so I know they've been busting people's balls about it. Like they definitely were the Anaheim Convention Center folks were definitely busting people's balls about having anything with wheels on the carpet, including the people who actually were like had booths and stuff. Like they had to go take their shit out a very specific way and stuff. So rolly bags are probably going to kind of be a no-go at probably many of these shows because people are getting annoyed with it maybe damaging the floors or whatever.
The roller cart guys are all like short and fat too.
It's like me. No, we'll see. I got a lot of books where it's like I could take them and like but then like I don't want somebody offering me like 20% on my book. It's just one of those things. If I do that,
make them think they're getting a deal off the bat and just have all your shit in like one of those like a beer box or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Some ratty cardboard box.
I don't know what these are worth.
They think you're clueless and don't know anything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like it all depends on what you have into your books and like. So I mean, my logic was with when I sell at shows like that, and I do the whole like, well, if you buy more, you get 20% off, and people are like, well, what dealer's going to buy? I mean, you'd be surprised. Like I had dealers buy, 10% off of market value. Like if they think they can move it, they will buy it.
Right.
If it's a hot enough book, and they'll be like, okay, I can still, I'm not going to sit on this. It's instantaneous turnaround. I mean, I sold somebody a book. I sold a book to a shop for, at one point, I think $39,000. Dude added on maybe $2,000 onto the price, and then sold to the next person. But the book was in his possession for maybe an hour. Like he had somebody lined up who was going to buy the book, so he's like, "Yeah, I don't need to make all the profit in the world. I made $2,000 to basically like buy this book and hold on to it for half an hour." So yeah, I mean, there's people who are willing to do that. Also, you gotta keep in mind too that like shops have to be, or like vendors at shows have to be realistic. If you're at a major con, a C2E2, even WonderCon being one of the more bigger ones and things like that of this nature, you have Heritage inside the building, you have Comic Connect inside the building, you have Metropolis, which is Comic Connect, and you have Comic Link. All the auction houses are in the building. There are multiple groups consigning books there, and they're getting really competitive now. I mean, Golden, say what you will about them, they're getting 5%. Hakes, 5%. They're only asking 5%. So even if they don't get top dollar, you're still clearing, quite a bit of money, in that scenario. So if you're sitting there offering somebody, well, I'll give you, 35%, 40% for your book right now, cash. I'm like, well, I can wait 2 weeks and have it be sold to these guys, or a month and have it be sold. Like, that really only works if somebody's hard up for cash. So you got to really change your logic of what makes sense. I mean, don't buy everybody's like random third tier first appearances for like top dollar. But yeah, if you can move it and you're not gonna be stuck sitting on it, then yeah, I mean 20% isn't unreasonable. And I mean that means that I'm also not having to pay the taxes on it at the end of the year because it was a cash transaction. So you gotta play the balancing act. I mean, yeah, I would love to get all the money for it, but hell, when you raffle books off, nobody's allowing people to raffle books at market value anyway either. So you're already having to go probably 10% under market value. So like, okay, so I'm like, well, I can do 20% and not have to ship this book, not have to burn material costs and in shipping and things like that. So I don't know, it all balances out in my opinion.
Cool. All right, guys, we're gonna end it. Great stuff. We are doing. I don't know when you guys do your tape heads next, but next Monday, we'll get back on it, man. Me and Carter will do a WrestleMania show. We got to figure it out. I'll get it posted. Maybe we'll just do it and then we'll just post it. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it live. I'll put a post on Instagram. People lose their minds, so don't worry about it. So as usual, we appreciate it. We like everybody, and we'll check everybody later. So